where I take some issue with what has been done. It's this business of having high-paid people expensing tiny things like $1.89 for a cup of tea or 91 cents for a parking charge. What do you say to that? I mean, because it doesn't appear optically to be very sensible for somebody who makes that kind of money to expense a cup of tea for $1.89.
Yeah, John, that's a great comment. I think the first thing is, we do have policies, and we take those policies very seriously. They're based on Ontario's directive. They were reviewed by our audit committee and the board. So we have a very clear set of rules and guidelines. Now, and we follow them. And everything we were talking about falls inside that policy window. What this is a great lesson of is that, you've got to be thinking more broadly minded than, you may be following policy, but does it follow common sense? And one of the things we're going to be doing now is taking a look at our policies and how we want to approach this thing to ensure that we're not spending our time talking about expenses. We're spending our time talking about, how these games are going to leave a lasting difference and how people can get involved as volunteers. The important things, which really will, I think, be the thing which makes the big difference in this community.
So have you, in the wake of this, and again, we all learn lessons from these things, but have you now sort of said, well, look, we're going to have, probably fewer people go on fewer trips, for example, or certainly stop with the, what I'll call entertaining each other at dinner, and then we're just going to have less of that. Some of that stuff I think has already been done away with, correct?
Yeah, we continue to look at what makes sense for us. In the late spring of this year, we in fact said, okay, let's make sure that we tighten up how we're enforcing business dinners and meetings like that to ensure that, we are operating, we're all taxpayers. So we want to operate in a way that is responsible for the taxpayers' monies, which is our monies as well. So we've taken some steps already. We'll continue to take steps as we look at what we've done in our policies to tighten those things up appropriately. One of the things which has been a good investment is we have to travel. We have to travel to learn from other games. We've applied some of those learnings in terms of our clustering, which is a great way to drive efficiency, or how do we leverage things like volunteers. So there is an aspect of this that we have to reach out. We have to go to places. We have 40 countries that are all coming to these games. We need to be able to go out and inform them on how we're progressing and what they can expect. And it's just part of our job mandate. So we probably will be traveling more than normal people would. But they're really required for us to put on a great games and to make sure that those countries, when they come, feel welcome and they feel very good about the plans.
Final question, Ian Troop. Can people sort of assume that in the wake of this, that you have, as you just said a moment ago, learned some lessons, changed some policies so that maybe the common sense will be applied if it wasn't before, or if you learned sort of how people measure common sense, that you'll be looking at some of these things like expensing tea and the like?
Yeah, absolutely. We are all taxpayers. We take seriously that responsibility. We're listening, and we understand how people think about this. We want them to feel like this is going to be a fantastic event, and it's a shame that something like this is getting in the way of that. And so we will take steps in as quickly as possible to make sure that that's remedied in a short order.
Ian Troop, I appreciate your coming out to answer these questions, and we'll stay in touch as we get closer and closer to the games. The clock is ticking.
It'd be my pleasure. 93 weeks to go.
Ian Troop, the Chief Executive Officer of the Pan American Games.